Fellow Doodlers. So today I will be trying out some acrylic inks that I got at Walmart. If you've been in the artist community for some time, you probably know that October is a monthly art challenge known as Inktober. Last year I used markers. This year I thought, why not try inks? And I saw these at Walmart while I was looking through the art section, which I do every single time I'm there. I mean, you just can't have a trip to Walmart without me asking to go look at the art supply section. But I saw these and I thought, oh, well, I know how to use acrylics and I know how to use watercolors. I wonder if these kind of have the coloring of acrylics but consistency of watercolors. I did some more research and I finally saved up enough money to buy them. I believe they were about $11 or $12, and they come in yellow, red, blue, green, black, and white. And they were a pain to get out of this package. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to be using my ceramic watercolor palette for this. I just thought that it would be easier for me to use that sort of palette instead of trying to do it on the plate like I would with acrylics. I will be using a Strathmore paint pad. It's a lower quality than what I would generally use to paint on, but that's excellent for just practicing. I have 2 more pages left in this thing and I'm going to finish them off today. Okay, so the first thing I did was I chose a color, and there was a lot of pigment at the bottom of these. Like, I really had to shake them up. The first thing I wanted to do was try out just like all the sort of effects that I could get with them. I just wanted to play with it. I didn't want to like swatch them or anything. I just wanted to play with them. And if there's one thing that I learned while doing this, it's a little bit of ink goes a long way. I only did 1 drop, and that was maybe too much. I used watercolor brushes for these because I'd read that they were okay to use them. And I got it wet first like I would a watercolor brush too, because I didn't want it to get like bristly. Is that the right word? Alright, so first I wanted to see how well I could blend these out. If I let the ink sit just a wee bit too long, I'll have a line in between the blending, as you can see that happened here. But I didn't really give the ink enough time to dry during my next few washes, so there wasn't a very hard edge. I think it blended out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. Also, this blue is friggin' gorgeous. And now I just wanted to try to like draw stuff with it because the brush felt good in my hand and ink made me want to do like calligraphy or something. Not that I can do calligraphy. I just wanted to do a whole bunch of little swooshes and lines and stuff like that. Next I wanted to see how the wet on wet technique would work with the ink. So I went ahead and I got the paper wet and just dropped the ink down. Oh my gosh, it just spreads. And it's so cool looking, the way it just spreads out. So cool. It's so satisfying. Next, I dried off the brush and tried to do a dry brush technique. I've never really done this with watercolors, but I'd seen people do it with inks, so I wanted to give it a try. And then I used the wet on dry technique to draw bubbles because I felt like drawing bubbles. But I used really dark ink for those. Blue, green, red, yellow, black, and I'm not going to bother with the white. Alright, now I guess I should do a painting, huh? This is Amy. I've been wanting to draw her for a while. I wanted to draw her the way that people would draw regular ink portraits without actually coloring her skin. Since she has shadows inside of her, I also wanted to use that to my advantage to try out how dark I could get the black ink. So while on one side she's perfectly normal, the other side is her shadow ability coming out. I'm going to step out for a little bit and enjoy the speed paint. All done! I found that the inks behaved very similarly to watercolors. However, once it was down and dried, it wasn't going to come back up with water that happens if you have a thick layer of paint with your watercolors. So if you're a watercolor artist like me and you want to try out inks, I suggest just getting black ink and maybe white, and just using your colored watercolors for accents and things like that. If you want to do full-on colored ink drawings, then that's your own thing, but I feel like I could have saved money if I just bought a bigger pack of black ink and used my watercolors as accents. I'll be using these for Inktober this year. Hopefully I actually succeed in finishing it. We'll see. That's all for today. Come back next week and I'll see you then. Bye!